What's up, everyone? This is Xavier, your host, and welcome to the 210 Stockyard.
Ladies and gentlemen, virtual reality has entered the chat. Did you guys see the article written by Greg Luca of the San Antonio Express-News? I'm honestly surprised that I didn't know this sooner, but apparently the Brahmas offensive coordinator AJ Smith helped pioneer a form of virtual reality training for quarterbacks or football players in general. And it's something that he brought to the league last year with the Roughnecks, and of course he's now incorporating it with the Brahmas. And apparently this thing works. According to the article, AJ Smith's interest in this technology came in 2016 when Microsoft released the HoloLens. The technology evolved from rudimentary graphics to using 3D models, and then of course to videos of practices. Now, I totally agree with what the article says when we are already seeing the results of this technology. And the best example is going to be last year's Houston Roughnecks team that he introduced it to. If you guys remember, Houston started the season hot. They jumped out to a 4-0 start, and they were averaging 30.5 points per game. And when asked how is he and the team so far ahead of everyone else, like how are they doing it, Smith admitted it's the tool that they were using since 2014. It's just much better now. A little bit of a side note, the article in my opinion kind of gives away who our actual QBs are, because in the article, one, the picture only shows Quentin Dormady and Chase Garber, and two, they were the only two quarterbacks that were interviewed, so it looks like Tom Flacco wasn't even really consulted. Hate to see anything bad about Tom Flacco, but just based off of that little bit from the article, I think it would be safe to say that he's number 3 on the depth chart. Now, before being introduced to the technology, they did ask Garbers and Dormady about it. Garber said that he had used it only for cognitive tests when he was playing at Cal. Dormady said he had used it before at Tennessee, but he didn't really like it because it kind of made him like woozy or queasy. But since the time that both of them have used it, it has improved. And what AJ Smith does is he actually captures with a 360-degree camera he sets up behind the quarterback. He captures pretty much the whole practice, or at least the quarterback's view of the practice. And this VR tech, apparently, this specific one that they're using, helps quarterbacks and signal callers learn the run and shoot and the air raid offense. When using this, of course, they're looking at their own practice camp film, but they're also incorporating previous films from Johnny Manziel, PJ Walker, and Gardner Minshew. So you get to kind of run the offenses that they had. So what they do is, after each practice, the Brahmas hold a film review session with the quarterbacks and the receivers, and they basically replay or redo plays or positions through the VR system. Dormady said that he could replay all the snaps from that day's practice, as well as the other quarterbacks, so he actually can go in on the set that Garbers may have done or that Flacco may have done and run those reps as well, which basically means you're turning, the 20 reps that you may have gotten during practice into 80 or even 100 reps. So Dormady admitted that it definitely helps you get the reps that you can't always get. So whether you're, sharing reps with someone else, or if it's reps from years past, it still helps you to process things quicker right out the gate. And it also reduces the strain on your arm, because if you're out there getting the live reps, which of course is, beneficial, and I'm sure is preferred, you're using your arm a lot. You're just constantly throwing, so you're wearing down your arm. So the VR reps kind of helps reduce or mitigate the wear and tear on the QB's arms. So AJ Smith's VR system runs on the MetaQuest 3. It's a great tool, especially because even after practices, even after the meetings, a quarterback or a player can still have this, take it home, and still continue to have more reps in their off time. And if you're wondering how AJ Smith even stumbled upon this or created this, a quick backstory, he's apparently self-taught with the majority of this technology, and he used Google to learn about coding. He grew up with his parents, who both apparently worked in media in Louisiana, and it gave him access to kind of experiment and play with all the new technologies that were coming out. And he just simply turned VR systems into a business opportunity. They have sold hundreds of units to high schools, colleges, and on the professional level. And while it may not be major news, I just thought this was something so interesting to report, or at least get y'all's opinion on it. Now, I can see how some people may be upset at this, because Not every team in the XFL is utilizing this, but they do have access to it. But I do see some fans being a little upset that their team isn't utilizing this technology. You know, it gives the Brahmas and the other teams that are using this an unfair advantage. Well, in my opinion, it doesn't. Because even though Houston utilized this last year and did get off on a hot start, one, they still lost games, so they weren't perfect, they weren't unbeatable. And two, they still didn't win the championship. Yes, they went to the playoffs, but they didn't win the big game. Now, of course, the technology is still very advantageous, but the idea that using this is cheating, yeah, no, I'm gonna swipe left on that. And if you're curious as to what teams have used the system or are currently using the system, here's an actual snapshot from the official VAR website, and you can see the Brahmas are on there, Arlington's on there, Houston's on there from last year, a lot of college teams. So it's a pretty good testimony to the efficacy of this system. Here's their official Twitter page or Twitter information. I'm sorry, X information. That's so stupid. Another interesting thought about this is its future uses, its future advancements and developments. Do you guys think that this is just glorified video games for jocks? Do you think it's bad? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's unfair? And if so, why or why not? Could this technology even be incorporated in something like fan-controlled football? Like where the fan steps into the quarterback or the receiver's shoes and they actually play out the game? That would just be so crazy to see. But yeah, the tech nerd in me just had to jump at this. And yes, I pretty much just read the article verbatim. It is a very good article. Definitely recommend you go and read it for yourself if you'd like. I do hope that the success continues with the Brahmas. I would love for us to start out 4-0 and then make the playoffs as well, and of course win. I'll take any advantage we can get. But this was just something that kind of reinforces the decision to, step away from Hines Ward and move on with Wade Phillips and his staff, because even off the field they're already showing, their player development capability. And AJ Smith is a very creative offensive coordinator. Definitely looking forward to see how the Brahmas look on day one versus the other teams. I'm super excited. Football's back at the end of the month. The UFL season starts on March 30th, and the Brahmas home opener / first game is March 31st against the DC Defenders. That's a hell of a way to kick off our revenge tour. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Go ahead and click that notification too. That way you guys get alerted anytime I post a new video. And don't be afraid to let me know what you guys want to see more or less of. Is there anything else you want me to cover or report on? I was asked to do a video on potential expansion teams and cities, and I am working on that, so I hope I'll have that out before the season starts. But I do appreciate you guys listening to me rant and ramble, and stay tuned for more episodes of the 210 Stockyard.